I don't ever consider myself successful because the second that you do that is the second you start going down the other way. So I'm always trying to achieve it. And so, I love, for one thing, I love what I do.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the show. My name is Tiffany Alexander, and this is Unveiling Journeys. Can I just tell you a hot second? Oh my goodness, I love people. I love meeting people. I love like the thrill of like unwrapping a new story for each new person that I get to meet. And by all means, I do that so much that someone said, "Hey, you should start a show." And that's why I did start the show. So whenever I hang out with people, I like to ask them really fun questions like, "Hey, who do you need to know?" Also, you're phenomenal. Can I know more people just like you? And on top of that, sometimes I think to myself, you are so darn cool. I need more people to know you right away. Can you come on my show? Type of a thing. So that is why I have here what it is that I do. And so by all means, let me know, hang out. If you want to go dig through the guests that I've had that are phenomenal, go check it out. It's everywhere that you can find my show. So I have an amazing guest for you today. We had a phenomenal chat about the things that he's up to, and I wanted to share it all with you guys. So, with that, do me a favor. I'm going to introduce my guest, Gabe. Hi, Gabe. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about what you're up to right now. What are you doing?
Hello, Tiffany. Well, thank you so much for having me. And I'm Gabe O'Neill, known as the Godfather of the video business card. So I've been a software developer for many, many years. And what I'm working on now is just the thing I'm focusing on now is one of our products called a virtual video book. It was something that I kept behind the scenes because I've been more into our video business cards, but I've kept it behind the scenes. ChatGPT said, "Don't do that. Bring it out in the forefront." So now that I'm bringing it out in the forefront, I'm getting a lot of traction with it. People are really liking it. It's very different. There's nothing else out there, and so now I'm trying to make connections on with different videographers and a lot of other things to get it out there. So I'm having a lot of fun with it.
I love whenever I get to hang out with someone that's like, I've invented something that I can't believe no one else thought of at this point for people to have access to. And whenever we were chatting, you were able to show it to me with how it
Hmm.
works. And I thought, this is so cool. I could see so many different applications as to why this is neat. And as I don't know, like a serial networker and connector of people, I think a lot of people need to know what this is like. And it's not expensive. The fact that we can have technology you've poured yourself into that you've made accessible for people to have, and not just like, hey, this is the one sentence you gave it doesn't even do it justice. Like I almost I got to figure out how to like connect a tutorial or something like that to this episode so that people can see this neat thing that you've invented. Um, let's do this though. I want to tell your whole story from the beginning. Let's unveil it. Tell me where are you from? And like where'd you grow up? What'd you want to be when you were growing up? And go to school for? Like, let's start from the beginning.
Sure, sure. Well, this will be fun. I haven't done this in a while. So I was born in a little town called Arnprior, Ontario, near Ottawa. My parents moved to Toronto, or the Port Credit area, which suburb of Toronto. Then they moved to Montreal, a suburb of that. So I spent the grade school basically in Montreal. Then we moved. Then, as all French Canadians do, they're not French, but as all Canadians do, they have to move to Florida when they hit a certain age. They get thrown out of the country, and so they did. And I went with
Wait,
them.
do you speak French too?
No, I don't. My
Oh,
sisters
okay.
do. My
Oh,
sisters do, but I don't. But I don't. Um, anyway, so we got sent to Florida, and I spent my high school years there. So the funny thing about that was, um, I, in Canada, there's only grade school goes up to grade 7, and in the United States, it starts at grade 9. So they said, well, let's just put them in high school, because I had good grades, and so I was just the smallest kid in the school, an all boys Catholic school. High school was not too much fun for me.
my goodness.
But the Dolphins were undefeated, so that was something that was a highlight of my high school. So I flew back up to Canada for college, at the University of Guelph, and that was, that was the 4 years that I didn't party or have any fun. I packed that all into when I went to college, and so that was, and there's only 3 years of college till I graduated. So I graduated kind of early. Honestly, I've kind of, since I didn't really put much effort into college, I fumbled around. I was manager of my brother's bar for many years. 27, I decided to go out and do what I call a walkabout. I'd quit my job at my brother's bar, and I said, "Well, I'm just going to go see the country." Put 12,000 miles on my Honda Civic.
No
Went
way.
from DC to Windsor, Detroit, Windsor, Ontario to Florida, down through Texas and up through California. Took us a ferry up to Alaska and back. And then so at that point, my mom was sick and I had to come home early. And she was asking me about my trip. And I was telling her, I said, people have said, you have a lot of capability, but you've got no ambition. What's wrong with you? I mean, and people will tell you their honest truths about you, and especially in places like Alaska and stuff like that. So I decided to look at the papers, and I saw all these jobs for computers. And I said, I totally avoid any of that stuff. I had one math class in college and I got a C in it. But now I'm starting to take a little, calculus 1, 2, and 3, Laplace and Fourier analysis and all this other stuff. I'm getting all A's. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And electronics and all these things that are so foreign to me, but I loved it. And then it was just from there. I've always really loved programming. And it was kind of natural. It was kind of weird way to find it, but something that I've done. So a few years into it, we had built a booking system for the DEA. I worked for
Oh,
Booz Allen, and and so my boss comes in and says, "Well, you're gonna do a demo in front of a bunch of people." I said, "How many is that?" Because the most I've ever done is 20. Well, I think there's 5,000. I think it's 5,000. That's right. You're gonna be going to the Fosse and the Federal Office Systems Expo in DC. And I said, "Okay." And you're gonna do a live demo. 40. It's about, you're gonna demo the whole thing. It's about 40 minutes. 40-minute live demo in front of 5,000. Okay, that's great. Oh, I forgot to tell you this one thing. Bill Gates is going to introduce you. And I thought, oh, wow. So how do you say no to something like that? So my wife and I really just prepped, and I must have gone through that thing 100 times so that I wouldn't screw it up, and come to the actual event about a couple hours before. Um, Bill Gates' assistant comes up to me and says, "Mr. Gates would like to see your presentation now." And nobody threw that curve at
no.
me. So I was more nervous for that than I was the actual one. And I have it on C-SPAN. So it all went off without a hitch. So that's kind of how, what I've been tasked to do and really love doing, is building systems that people get to use,
Huh.
right? And that are productive. I've always wanted to be productive and providing value. And so that's really, like, I could never be one of those government workers. You're working 6 months and they say, "Oh, the budget ran out. We're going to pull you off of that and go and do something else." That would kill me. So
Huh.
yeah, it's always been about providing value. So I don't know if that answered your question, but that kind of gets up to sort of now. I mean, there are a few detours along the way, but
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I know we kind of like glazed over. So whenever you got into this like actual getting into the coding and the ability, you kind of give yourself free reign to like invent stuff up other than the parameters that they give you that you have to go through in school and so forth. I like
Mhm.
that you didn't have a knack for math before and now you're like, wait a minute, this allows me to go do better things when you enjoy it. It really is easier
Yeah,
to learn
that's the
versus being
thing. When you're
forced.
motivated, I surprised myself. I couldn't believe it because calculus was really, really hard in high school, and I wouldn't touch it in college, and I wouldn't touch any technical class. But when I was motivated, I had no problems with it whatsoever. I mean, I got one B, and I got in trouble for yelling at the teacher because I
Dang
said, "No,
it.
I want an A."
Yeah. I like that you have this knowledge about yourself of like, man, I just want to help improve the systems that people have access to. and being able to invent that up by seeing this, like the lack, right? And there's so many more things that could be invented, but how did it lead from the company that you were at with these displays and your presentations you were giving to deciding to want to go off and do this on your own? And I know we skipped a bunch of stories in between that because you didn't even go to college for coding. How did the coding come
You know, I
along
I I I
later?
went back to school. When I came back to when I came back, from that walkabout, I found all these jobs in computers, and then it just that happened to be, like, August, and I got right in. I enrolled right away
Oh,
and
wow.
and went back, I it was a technical college. I went to the junior I got, like, a junior status. I didn't actually graduate honestly, their curriculum was not serving me anymore. It they just the school itself was kind of falling apart. So I said, "Well, I don't need to do this," and I just continued on and went and got a job. But so that's how I got that. But yeah.
Man, that's interesting. So where did it lead to when you thought, I'm doing this for someone and I want to maybe do this for myself? Like who or what like encouraged you to start doing this?
A lot of those stories are very, glamorous where you just say, "Screw this job, I'm gonna go out on myself," and then you do that. It was not kinda done that way. I got downsized after 16 years of working with the company, had a lot of stock options and all that. It all ended up just going down the tubes. So it was actually kind of a rough go for us, for a while there, and we that's why we moved to Atlanta, and we didn't know anybody. And since we didn't know anybody here, and I was just looking for contract work, I said, "Well, I've got to expedite this process of getting to know people. So how do I do that?" And just because I can build things for people, I said, "Let me build them something." Something that they can use, something of value, ask for nothing in return. They get to see my work ethic. They get to see my technical skills. They get to see and I've got marketing skills too because of nonprofits I've been involved with. And then they get to see that I follow through on things I say I'm going to do, which is very important to me. And so I think, let me give them, I don't know, a digital business card. And so I stood up in the networking meeting and said, "Anybody want a free card? Come and see me at the end." And usually, at the end, when they don't know you, they're all yapping with each other. It's very awkward for new people, but they all lined up to get one. And I thought, wow, that really worked. And so I started building free digital business cards, custom digital cards. And I did that for an entire year. And then they were saying, "Well, you got to get one of these cards. They actually return business to me and all this." So they started recommending people to me, and I'm going, "Well, I'm not going to keep giving these away."
Yeah.
And it was funny because I thought, "These are great, but who's going to buy them?" I mean, there's nothing, because I just associated with the value of only just giving them away, and then I didn't think people would buy them. Then they started giving me money for them, and I said, "Well, but it's not going to be enough." And finally, I realized that those were glass ceilings that I had imposed on myself. And I said, "You know what? If I take those ceilings away, what happens? I can go to a company and I can sell these things to a bunch of sales teams. And if I boost the revenue of the entire sales team, which affects the whole company, then that's pretty significant." And that's when I just said, "I'm just going to do it." And I focused 100% on building the digital business cards. They're really if you think of digital cards that are out there right now, it's nothing like that. They're far more sophisticated, much more of a business magnet, much more of a marketing tool. It's got a CRM with it. It's got a lot of stuff with it, and you capture your information automatically. There's just a lot of stuff with it. So it's designed really to get business, and and then and since I'm a developer and we've been doing this since 2019, we've just been adding stuff to it, adding features to it, and every feature that we add to it is, will this bring more business? Can this help this person get more business? And if it's the answer to that is no, then we probably won't do it. But that's how we kind of do things these
That
days.
makes so much sense. Who are the like your biggest fans of this app that you've invented for them?
That's a good question because the people that are really active in networking, excuse me, the people who are active in networking and those who are looking to do things that are outside of the box. I mean, that's kind of the way I am. I do things very differently. And what our products do is get people noticed, get them remembered, get them to be sticky because if people can't remember you, then how can they do business with you? How can they refer business with you? So we're all about doing things that they're very different. So very very savvy marketers. So people that are active in marketing, we have a quite since I network a lot and quite frankly, almost every one of them should have the thing because it's designed for people in networking. So we have a lot of different folks, but the financial advisors, those are some of our big people, insurance, and the insurance industry, real estate, of course, but the list just goes on and on. Just because again, it's for people who want to stand out. And that's really what we do and I can't tell you how many people remember me. If I network a lot, and I might. Well, one guy say, I asked him if he was new to the group. He said, "Well, I am now, but I was here a year ago. I remember you. You're the guy who sells the video business cards." And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, how many people has that guy met in a year if he's
Mhm.
networking? And how? So it proved my point that what I do works, but it kind of validated what I do as well.
Man, that's incredible to hear how it started and how it's blossomed so much and that you're still working on it. I do want to go kind of one little tiny like direction. You were saying a part of your journey is not just like you and yourself and your story, but a little bit of your family too. Like you had some fun little nuggets of parts of your story. Share some of
Yeah,
those.
yeah. So it was back in 2004. I think it was we got a dog. His name was Charlie, and he's a Bernese Mountain Dog. I don't know if you're familiar with that breed, it's just phenomenal. Selfishly, I said I want to show this dog off. I love this dog. I want everybody else to see him too. So I called the nursing home and I said, "What do you have to do to get trained?" And I just want to get started in training or doing whatever I have to do. They said, bring him down to the nursing home and come down and fill out an application." I filled out the application. 15 minutes later, they said, "Okay, go out and walk around." They had no. I mean, he was a puppy too, so
Oh,
they didn't have any. They should have had requirements, but they didn't care. I mean, because they needed it so bad. So we ended up doing that for like a year or so, and then it would when there would be a flu, it would be shut down because they would, once a flu gets in a nursing home, you have to shut the whole thing down. So it was done like twice, and I said, well, "Where else can I go?" And they said, there's a assisted living facility next door." And, so I went there and they announced me. They said, "There's this huge dog." At this time, he was grown up, and "There's this huge dog in the hallway if you wanna come see him." And there was wings in the nursing home, and you look down one wing, all the doors started open. Look down the other wing, all the doors started opening, and
oh,
all the walkers and wheelchairs started to come out, and they just converged on him, and he's a big dog, and if he barks, it's very intimidating. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen?" And Charlie looked up at me as if to say, "Don't worry, I got this. I know what to do." He
huh.
sat down and people petted him, people loved on him. They said, "Oh, when are you coming back?" And I said, "Oh, what did I just do?" So I kind of realized that we really needed to have something like that. So we put flyers in the people's mailbox and said we started a pet therapy group, and it still exists in Maryland. It's called Wax for Hope, and
Oh,
Charlie's image is still on the front of that plate. So it was that, and then 2 years later, my daughter comes to me. She was 8 years old. She says, "Daddy, I want you to build me a website." I said, "What do you want it to do?" So I want to help animals because I heard in kindergarten or whatever grade she was in, that all the animals are going to be extinct pretty soon or something like that. so, um, so I said, "Okay, what if we help people in the environment too?" And she said, "Oh, okay." So we did that, and so we built a website that showcased children, and we normalized philanthropy for them. So we showcase stories like if they gave up their birthday gifts for the animal shelter, that's great. Or one kid was drilling water wells in Africa. He was 6 years old, and he actually, I mean, he's pretty famous now. His name is Ryan. And then this girl from Nairobi who she raised $200,000 for a girls' school dormitory. So we painted all the stories with the same brush so that Normally when you have things like that, they have contests and who can do the most and all that. We didn't care. We painted every story with the same brush so that kids could get find something and get inspired. And that really it really took off. We did it for about 7 years. We ended up having events at this little podunk um, shopping mall in Frederick, Maryland. We would invite people from all over the world, and they would come. We had kids come from Dubai, from San Francisco, Kenya, from South Africa, and we had people from American Idol there. And I mean, it was crazy, but it was probably one of the most self-fulfilling things I've ever done because kids are just absolutely amazing. These kids were so into their charities and what they were doing, and it was a great way to grow up with my daughter too. I mean, that was just a great way for legacy for us to leave, and she got on the Ricky Lake show because of it. We spoke in front of a business group. We were about 500 entrepreneurs, and Richard Branson was the keynote speaker there. So we got to meet him, and so all kinds of great stuff can happen from that. So yeah, it was a lot of fun stuff going on.
Fun stuff. I love that there's such a good theme of how you carry your heart through these things that you're constantly trying to invent to impress upon your family and your kiddos, and then the world around you, that you're just really trying to make it all better with any way that you can impact it, and having a little bit of background for all the little things you've done in marketing, like, let's make it bigger. Let's lead into the ability to draw people in so that you can make a bigger impact. Man, this is so phenomenal. I love that you
Well,
could
thank
share
you.
these parts of your story. I want to ask you, when you've done all this stuff and you continue to do so much great stuff, but why do you keep showing up? Like, you've killed it, right? Like, why do you keep trying?
Well, it's an interesting question. When you say I've killed it, that would mean to say that I'm successful. And I don't ever consider myself successful because the second that you do that is the second you start going down the other way. So I'm always trying to achieve it. And so, I love, for one thing, I love what I do. This is the first time I've been able to take all the muscles that I've had with the marketing and the tech and everything else, put them together, test myself to see if I can run a business, all of these things I'd never done, and actually provide to people things that actually work, and hear that oh my gosh, I got made my money back in 3 days off your product and all this other stuff. Those things, that's part of my payment, is when I hear stories about how well this has done for people. And to me, I'm just getting started. I mean, and because the products are, especially with the video book, that's pretty new, and I really think there's a lot that can be doing it. So, I have not run out of energy at all, and not even close to it.
That's phenomenal. All right, at this point, people are thinking, okay, I want to, I want to know more. Please tell everybody how that they can come find you.
Well, the most fun way is if you pull out your phone and you text the word Gabe, Gabe, to the number 321-421-5213, or you can, I think they're gonna put a QR code on the page near the interview. If you scan the QR code, it's gonna create that same text. You'll get my text, you'll get my video business card, and my calendar's right on it, so you'll get to see how it all works. We collect your cell phone number. We don't do anything with it other than send you an occasional text, but you can stop and opt out of it if you want. But it's also shows you how we can interact with you. So that's the way that we prefer people to get with us, so that we can contact them back. With basically an easy way to swap information.
Right. Man, that's so neat. I love that you're making some of this stuff so easy, because some of this stuff is hard. It's complicated. It's annoying. And you're like, wait a minute. I have the ability to problem solve this so that people can just step into what it is you're doing. And then
Mhm.
the fact that you're continuing to show up and make it better and better. I love that too. Let's do this. Two more questions.
Okay.
What's on the horizon for you?
Let's see what's on the horizon. Again, always coming. It's funny. One of my sales coach said, "Okay, your product is better than anything that's out there, and you need to focus on sales." And I say, "Yeah, I know." So I go to do sales for a while, and then I think of, "Wait a minute. It would be great if it did this," and then I go back and I get distracted. But so right now, I'm not I'm trying, I am focusing on sales, but I mean, almost every other day, I'll come up with a little thing to tweak it. So I'm always tweaking both the video book and the video business card, and we have a custom AI chatbot as well. So we're always tweaking that, and staying ahead. And of course, with AI, things change so much, and making sure that we're always keeping up with the technology, and making sure that that works, and making sure that what we're doing is not dated. It's very relevant to today. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Perfect. That's awesome. All right, and then brings me to my last favorite question. What are your golden nuggets you wanna leave with everybody?
Um, a couple of things. I mean, I would just say, for one, I mean, again, I'm having the best time of my life right now because I'm doing what I want to do. But so do that. Try and find something that you're good at, and you can somehow make a business out of it. And the other part of it is, you know, one thing I really would like to encourage people to do is just follow through on things you say you're going to do. That's one of my pet peeves. I've got some. I've had so many people disappoint me because of that. But and one of my favorite quotes is, I think it was from Henry Ford. It was, you can't build a reputation on things you're going to do. So it just kind of, when you think about that, you say, yeah, I've got to actually do it. I've got to follow through. I got to do it. So yeah, I don't know if that was a strong one, but
Those are good ones. Yeah. I appreciate that because I agree. And occasionally I'm like, "Oh, I didn't okay, I owe you one because I forgot I was gonna send you an email for something." So I'm like,
Mhm.
"Oh gosh, do my best." Man, this has been fun. Thank you for sharing your story and thank you for being here with me. I know we got introduced to each other because I love networking, obviously. And they're
Mhm.
like, "You don't know Gabe, what's the deal?" So guys, go do me a favor, check out we'll put up a QR code for you to be able to check him out. And if you're like, I didn't catch any of that, find us on LinkedIn. You could find us on his website. And that way you could go and take a peek, look at to see if it would be a good fit for your business and do it as soon as possible. Cause then I don't want you to forget about it. Thank you again for your time, Gabe. I appreciate you coming and hanging out. And then I will see all of you guys on the next episode. And I appreciate you staying this long to watch the whole thing today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Tiffany.
Yeah. All right. Take care. Bye.